Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another session of storyboarding. I'm Leon. I'm a tutor at Media Savvy, and we are funded by the National Lottery Community Fund in order to put these sessions on. Today's session is really exciting because it is St George's Day, and what we're going to do is a St George's Day themed session, and we're going to try and create some storyboards in that theme. So happy St George's Day, everyone. I didn't really know much about it until I start prepping for this session this week, so hopefully it'll be a little bit of education for us to understand why we celebrate it here in England and Britain. Okay, so what I'd like to touch on really is I would like to just look at the first few things that is really important for our sessions to be put on, and that is an enrollment forms and surveys. Okay, the first thing is it's an enrollment form for these sessions. Now, in order for us to get funding for these types of courses, enroll onto a course and filling out a quick survey at the end of it is one of the most important things you guys can do. And I'll just quickly walk you through that now, just to show you how quick, simple, and easy it is to fill out. Okay, so if we just have a quick look at the enrollment form, really what we're really interested in here, guys. So we'll just click on. Find me bearings for a minute. Here we go. So what we're looking at here is mainly this first page, okay? And all it is basic information here. The course title, which is on YouTube, comments, your basic information, name, email address, so an address and things like that, and just a little bit of information about your subject knowledge. If you could fill that in for us, guys, that'd be absolutely fantastic. And the more enrollments we get, the more demand we get for the courses. The more demand we get for the courses, the more courses we put online for you. Okay, so that's brilliant, and it should literally take you about 30 seconds in a minute. The second thing is quite cool as well, because it helps us visualize your learning kind of path and it looks at how you think your learning is developed through the course. But the main part to the form is the first page there, guys. So if you do enjoy the course and you do enroll, want to look at this course and continue for the next 4 sessions, 5 including this one, please fill that in. We've also got a little feedback form, which I'll just quickly run through with you, just making sure that you guys can see it. Can you see it? Again, I'm quite new at all this, guys, so you have to bear with me a little bit. Here we go. Here's a little feedback form here, and I can see what I'm doing now. That's great. So all the links of which will be on our YouTube screen there under the comments. What I also do with you today, I'm trying to use a more professional looking presentation document, and I'll share that with you guys as well, because there's some useful links and everything else on there. Just a little plug, actually. The presentation document is created in Google Slides, which is an alternative to using Microsoft PowerPoint. In the next few weeks, I believe on the 6th of May, we're going to be starting a new course for the Google Suite, which is Google's version or answer to Microsoft Office. Okay, so you've got a word processing document, an Excel document type software in there, and also a PowerPoint slash presentation document or a bit of software. It's all online, and it's something that I'm going to be walking you guys through on another 5-week course. Okay. Okay, quickly feedback form, again, simple information, your address, your name, telephone number, and hopefully you'll have some positive feedback to put into that. And these are just little ticky boxes here, and that all the sections here are with a little red asterisks is what is required to complete form. The rest, say for this one, for example, you don't need to put an answer in there if you want to speed up that process. And all you do at the end is submit the form. Okay. And if you would like a copy of your completed form, you just check that little box there, submit it, and it'll go to your email address that you've supplied at the top of the form. This is really, really important, guys. Your feedback is really, really important to how we deliver. If there's any way we can develop our training or anything like that, this is where you really need to be putting your comments, because we look at them, every single one that comes through, and we try our best to implement them to make sure our sessions are as interactive and engaging as possible. Okay, so that out of the way, let's have a look at what else we're going to be looking at today. Okay, so there are the session forms. Right, so today's session is going to cover the audience, and we're going to be considering the audience when it comes to building our storyboards today. Okay, we need to think about why they're watching it, what kind of information they're looking at, or what needs they have when it comes to reading your storyboard. Okay, and if we remember from last session, storyboards are used for a multitude of different applications, not just filmmaking, but they're heavily used in filmmaking and animation. So it's the audience, the viewer, who's going to view your film, who's going to view your presentation, who's going to view or interact with your application that you might be designing for a mobile device, for example. What is it they're using or interacting with that storyline or storyboard? Why do they need that information? Okay, so the audience is key, and that's something we're going to look at today. We're also going to look at how we keep that audience or those audience members engaged. Okay, now last session we had a taster session of the storyboarding program, if you like, course, and we covered quite a lot last week, and I'm going to quickly go over and recap some of the main things that we did actually cover. But what is really key really is to look at how we can apply the techniques to create our storyboard. Okay, and within that we'll also be looking at the importance of clear communication and how important it is to deliver that information as efficiently as you can. Okay, so that's today's session. How we're going to do it? Right, we're going to look at industry techniques. Okay, and we're going to apply these techniques to two different storyboards, and I've set up two different activities which I'm going to run through, and you guys can follow online now, live if you like, or you can actually do it yourselves respectively. Okay, so the two scenarios that I've set up is two storyboards. So within the first half of today's session, we're going to recap on some of those skills, some of those techniques that's needed to build that storyboard, and then we're going to apply that to scenario one here, that is to inform an audience about who St. George is, trying to stick with the theme today. Okay, so the key word here is inform the audience about who is St. George. Okay, the second activity towards the second half of the session is going to look at entertaining that audience. Okay, we firstly know who St. George is now. We're going to then use that information to entertain the audience, entertain being the key word, about the legend of St. George. Now, if you don't know what the legend of St. George is, hold fire and we'll come back to that a little bit later. Okay, so that's how we're going to get to our goals. Okay, up here. Right. Quick recap on last session. Last Friday, we looked at what storyboarding is. Okay, so what is storyboarding? Storyboarding is a series of images, sketches, photographs. They're a visual element that is used to describe a scene. Okay, and it's these scenes that form the story. So you're compiling scene by scene, a sequence of scenes, sequence of images, sequences of sketches to convey a story, a timeline, if you like. Okay. Why do we use it? Well, as mentioned last week, we use it to communicate a flow. We communicate a story, to communicate how somebody interacts with something, if it's a presentation or if it's an app, like I mentioned last week. How we engage with the app. So, for example, if we're using a banking app on our phone, when that application was developed, right at the very beginning, it would have come from a series of sketches where the user, for example, would press on the app. It would take you to another screen. You would then input your information. It will take you to another screen. And that is a type of storyboard as well. Okay, but again, like I mentioned before, it is heavily used in the filmmaking industry. I've got a little video to show you, guys. So just sit back, watch this, and it'll just nicely sum up what I've just been waffling on about for the past few minutes, and then we'll move on to a few other little details before we move on to the activity. Okay.
Hi guys, it's Gary here from Acme, and today we're going to talk about storyboards. So, what is a storyboard? Well, glad you asked. A storyboard is a guide of how a film is going to look, a way of visualizing all the shots in a film before you actually go out and capture your footage. And they're kind of like a comic book, but not. The panels in storyboards are usually rectangular, and that's because they represent the camera frame. A storyboard is usually created using a shot list. And a shot list breaks down all the information found in a script into a list of, yep, you guessed it, camera shots. Storyboard is a way of illustrating what those shots will look like and everything that will be in the camera frame when that shot is finally filmed. You should illustrate where things like your characters, objects, superheroes are in relation to one another and the setting they're in. You'll also need to work out what shot type you'll use to cover the action and the emotion you want. So are you going to use a long shot, a close-up, an extreme close-up? In this sequence from Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, we see a long shot to show us the setting and our characters within that setting, then a close-up to show us the panic on their faces just before Indy gets pulled off a moving motorbike and into a car. As your storyboards get more advanced, you can use arrows to indicate how or where a character is moving, as well as camera movements such as panning, tilting. You don't have to be a fantastic illustrator to make storyboards. The reason why storyboards are so important is because once you're out there filming your masterpiece, you're not going to be making everything up as you go. And when you're filming, there is so much going on. So if you have a visual plan for each shot of the film, you'll save time and avoid a stressful situation.
Okay, guys, so that was a really good summary of last week's session and of the main key factors we need to really think about when it comes to assembling our storyboards. Okay, a little recap on the actual details that we did cover ourselves last week. Just a quick snapshot of what we want to expect to be putting down on a piece of paper. For example, if we drawing our storyboards out, we need a box of some sort, which is called a panel or a frame. That's where our images go and all the information that we want to include for that specific scene. Underneath that, we have the description of what that picture is showing. Okay, so it could have all kinds of information, camera information. It could have the character behavioral information, anything that is relevant that you think is important for that scene, you would put it in there. So that's really what we're looking at when we're talking about a storyboard. It's a series of these boxes. Okay. Types of shots. Types of shots was really important last week when we looked at conveying different types of information, okay, within a scene. So as you can remember from last week, if we quickly scroll down, we used this website called storyboarding.com, which was a fantastic bit of a source to further explore what it is a storyboard is, what it's compiled of, and as I demonstrated a little bit later on in last week's session, how they have an online application where we can actually assemble our own storyboards very quickly and easily, and that's something that we're going to continue again with this week. Okay, so camera shots is really important when it comes to building our storyboards up. So quick recap, I'll just get rid of this, quick recap here. Establish and shot. This is something a bit like what you saw in the video where they describe it as a long shot. A long shot or establishing shot is where we see the scene, we see what it is our characters are going into or are in at the time of that shot. Okay, it's a wider shot which puts everything within that that one window, okay, that one frame, if you like, or panel. And then you've got your full shot here that shows the character, full height of the character, head to feet, zoomed in a little bit. We've got our mid shot from the waist up. We've got a close up, which is a close up of the head or object. It doesn't need to be an actual individual, it could be an apple, it could be an object. And then we've got an extreme close-up, which is obviously a zoomed-in version of that. And as you can see, the drama intensifies as we go along here to the final extreme close-up. Okay, so we can see that an extreme close-up increases that drama. Okay, I think one key thing that we need to think about, and what will be really useful in future sessions that we put on, is when you guys come away from these sessions to explore this yourself by just looking at videos, looking at advertisements, looking at your dramas on TV, your films, and now that you've got a bit of an understanding as to what these shots are, try and think of how you feel when you see certain shots and what that makes, what emotions certain shots and certain things within a scene makes you feel, what kind of emotions it provokes, because that's really important when it comes to assembling our storyboards as well. A quick recap. So that's a type of shots, and then that summarizes our recap really from last week. Okay, so the first activity we're going to look at today, we are going to build a 6-panel storyboard in Storyboard That, like we used last week. Okay, so this is the program that we're going to use, and we're going to create our own storyboard. Okay, and I'm going to do this on the fly, and I'm going to talk you through what my thought processes are going through these going through and developing each of these panels, and then we're going to take a little break for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to move on to the next activity. Okay, so the first activity that I've set today is to create a storyboard that informs the audience about who is St. George for children aged between 8 and 10. Okay, So the main word here is inform. Okay, we want to inform children between 8 and 10 who sent of the person who it is St. George. Okay, a little Google and a little dictionary just to break down what we mean by inform. It's to give facts or information. Now, facts and information for most people, especially me, are the most boring things ever. So that's why I thought I'd make it a little bit more challenging by aiming this activity at younger children, because if you just write down a fact or a figure to most children in that age bracket, they're going to turn off pretty quickly. Okay, so to keep them engaged, we need to think of a way we can do that. Okay, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but we're gonna try and see what I can come up with. Okay, your comments are greatly appreciated. You can just put those on our YouTube comments bar, and I'll interact with them as much as I can, but you have to bear in mind I'm still new to this online teaching, so in a few weeks I'm sure I'll be up to scratch. Okay, so let's have a look then. So what we're going, like I said before, what we're going to look at is we're going to look at developing our storyboard, specifically in this really cool bit of kit called Storyboard That. Okay, now the session, or the course structure here is a 5-session course. This is session 1 of 5. I touched on Storyboard That last week, but I thought it was really important to cover it again this week, because I thought it was a really good and quick way to build up our storyboards. Okay, the next sessions that will follow on from this, we'll look at other ways that we can do that. Okay, but this is a really, if you've got a computer or access to a computer, which I presume you have, because you're looking and watching this video now, I really urge you, if you're interested in storyboarding, to go to the storyboardthat.com website, because there's a wealth of information on there about shots in motion, about your camera shots I've just described, movements and motion within the scenes, the use of cameras. That's a combination of camera and arrows, by the way. Camera arrows to describe what the camera is doing within that within those shots or panels. So there's so much information on there, and then, like I said, you can build up your storyboard for free as well. You can build up 6 panel storyboards for free. What I will do in a little bit more detail than I did last week was show you how to export those, and we can do multiples of 6 panels, so we can create a longer story. Okay, so we're not just confined to trying to squeeze our story down to 6 panels. Okay, so let's have a look at signing in. This is a really good opportunity for me to explain how this works. Okay, so to sign in or log in, you just click on the login button on the website and you type in your details. If you haven't already signed up, all you need to do is register at the top here. Click the register button, and then you put a few basic bits of information in there, and then you'll have a username and password to put in and sign in, which I'll be doing now. Okay, so my password is, I think I've got it wrong. Let's have a quick look. I should have really sorted this out before, and I believe I did, but it's on a different screen. I don't think I can get it, so let's just try that and see what we can do. Right, okay. Another fun and funny fact, actually, was a little bit of a blunder last week. I showed my username and password, okay, which I straight away changed. So I just want to highlight there and highlight that there to expose myself a little bit. I showed that on the screen when I was doing my presentation. Just want to highlight the importance of keeping your password and your login details safe online, okay? And that's all I need to really say about that. So yeah, just be careful with your usernames and passwords, especially for any financial services that you guys might use online. Okay, so let's see what I can. Let's see if we can get in. Oh. Okay, I must have an issue here, and this is one great example of why you should be prepared. Why we should be prepared. Here we go. We're already in. Okay. Here we go. Right. This is one I made earlier. Right. So this is once you sign in, obviously I haven't signed in there because I had an issue with my login, but I did sign in earlier, but I've got too many tabs open, so that's the reason why. Once you sign in, you're presented with, let's have a look. You're presented with a screen that asks you what it is you want to do. Okay, so you want to create your own storyboard, and you can add or delete cells. Now this is a free service, so up to 6 cells, which is 3 by 2 cells, which is another word for panel, by the way. You can update your storyboard, and there you go, you've got 6 panels there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a story within these six panels, and then we're going to look at extending that story onto another 6 panels. Okay, and we're going to go back to our activity. The storyboard is to inform the audience about who St. George is. Okay, right, first of all we need to know who he is and why it's important, especially today. Okay, we know we need to inform the audience, okay, and we know we need to get across some facts and figures. Okay, so I've done a little bit of research and I found out who St. George was yesterday. Okay, he's Richard the Lionheart. Okay, the St. George emblem was brought to England by Richard the Lionheart in the 12th century. He was actually, or believed to have originated from East Turkey, so he wasn't from England. He defended the persecution of the Christians against the Roman Emperor, and he was famous for the George and the Dragon story, okay, which we're going to look at in a little bit more detail for the second activity. Okay, so these are the key bits of information that I think would be quite useful for our activity. So if we go back to our storyboard, we need to think about setting the scene now. Okay, so if we go back to the scenes at the top, if you remember from last week, and you can choose a multitude of different objects that you can paste into your scene. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to think about our story. Okay, so what is our story? We're looking to explain who is St. George, and we're looking at conveying that to children aged between 8 and 10. Okay, so we need to set the scene. We need to really have a historical background that we can use to set that scene. So let's have a quick look. maybe something with a castle in or something like that is what I'm looking for. Okay, or some kind of elements like that. Let's have a look. That looks quite good there. I might use that one. Ooh, okay, I'm thinking green and hills, so let's go for that one I pointed out. Okay, let's go for this castle here. So we're going to drag this castle, we're going to put it into our little our panel here, and now we're going to look at finding some characters. Okay, so if we go to our characters here and we scroll along to the top, we can see, let's have a look in there's a 12th century. So if we go to the medieval section, we should find a character that might fall into that kind of era. And here we have a knight. Okay, so St. George, or Richard the Lionheart, he was a knight, I believe, and he was famous for his bravery. He was famous for his whatever. Let's check my notes here. So he was famous for his bravery, his honour, and his gallantry. Okay, so this is a very brave person back in the day. So I'm going to put this little character here with his armour on, and I'm going to put him on the scene with the castle, or the castle type setting in the background. Okay. What I'll probably do, what I'm thinking about doing now, is I'll actually copy this. I'm going to paste that and put it onto the next page. Now bear in mind, we've only got 6 pages or six frames, so we really want to get across this information as quickly as we can, because as we know, children between 8 and 10 don't have the attention span of as long as we older people, I guess. So we want to get that information across as quick as possible. So let's quickly look at that information once again. He was called Richard the Lionheart. He brought the emblem to England. Okay, and he was originally from Turkey. Let's have a look. So let's see if we can play around with some imagery here. So we have a knight. We have the scene. Let's have a look and see if we can play with the idea that his name was Richard the Lionheart. See if we can find a lion. Hopefully that something like that slight type of imagery might be able to stick into a child's memory. So I'm going to go on here and see if I can find a lion. There's got to be a lion on here. There's so many other animals. Let's see. And we might have to use a tiger. Maybe not. It might not be a lion. All right. Oh, there we go. Lion. Brilliant. All right. So we're going to put the tiger here. I'm going to copy Richard. I'm going to put him there. Okay, and heart. I'm going to put a little shape of a heart on there, see if I can find a shape of a heart. Bear in mind, I just want visual imagery to go on here, because I just want this to be aimed at children. This is I'm thinking as I'm building this story up here now. He's a heart. Drag that on. I'm thinking that a teacher, for example, could sit and read this to a child at school during story time or something like that. So the teacher could be reading the story and could be showing the children these images. Right, what colour is a heart? Heart is usually red, isn't it? So let's go for red. There we go. And what I've done here, once you click on the elements, you click on the element, remember from last week, you click on the element, hold down on your your left mouse button, drag it into the scene or the panel, and then if you click on the element, it'll come up with different colors here. Okay, and you can change those colors there, and you can choose it, move the slider up and down to get the color that you're after. Okay, this is the type, this is the scale of the color, so from red all the way to purple, back to red, and then you've got different shades within that. Okay, so you just choose what you're after. I'm going to go for a nice red, and I'm going to click choose, and that'll change that there. Okay, so we've got Richard the Lionheart. That's the first bit of information. He brought the emblem to the UK in the 12th century. So what we need to do is to try and create the St. George's Cross, which is the emblem that we have in our flag, in our English flag, and which is part of the British flag. Let's see if I can bring it up just to demonstrate, actually, for those of you who don't know. Let's have a look. So there you go. There's a St. George's Cross on the flag, of the English flag. And if I can go to GB flag. There we go. Flag of the United Kingdom, and there's St. George's Cross within that. Okay, and then you've got Scotland behind that, which is the Scottish flag. I'll just put that in as a Scottish flag. There you go. And then within that you've got the Welsh flag. Welsh flag isn't in there. This is where I'm leading myself down a rabbit hole here. I'm not too sure what that cross is in the background. That's disgraceful. That's something I need to look into. But anyway, as you can see, the Great British flag, or the United Kingdom flag, is constructed of many different flags, and the St. George Cross is one of them. Okay. Anybody who's got some suggestions as to what that red cross is, if you could forward me a link to an image on Google Images, that'd be absolutely fantastic, and then that would improve my knowledge, because I've seen this flag for 30 odd years and I couldn't break it down, so that's quite embarrassing, really. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create the English flag. Okay, so we'll go back one, the St. George's flag, which is the English flag. Okay, so all that is a square and find the square shapes. Here we go. I'm going to drag that square onto the board. Also going to change the color, so that color needs to be white, so I'm going to change that now. I'm going to choose that color. Now as here we have an issue. We have the white square on top of the red cross, so all we need to do is change that order, and we have this time and time again in different applications. We have this issue sometimes in Word or Google Documents or Google Slides or PowerPoint, where you've got one object on top of another and you want to change that order. And it's very simple. All we do is click on the item that we want to change, and then what we do here, see the layers here, you want to bring it forward, and if you bring it forward, it goes on top of the other object. What we want to do is change this square so it looks like a flag. So I'm going to just stretch that out a little bit. I'm going to put that X on top of the flag. I'm going to squash that down a touch. Bear in mind, this is a little kind of quick sketch type thing, just to try and get across to answer our little brief. So there's the St. George's flag. Okay, so we've got who he is. Okay, what we'll also do, which might help with children's learning, is we'll put a shape on there that will have a question mark, and this will help, in my mind, this will help children with their if I can find the right colour, it might help with children's spotting symbols, okay, and familiarize them with symbols that so children age between 8 and 10, if we put this little symbol in here, it might help them remember what that means. Okay, so what we're doing is we're asking who this person was. The next scene is now describing him and his other name, which is Richard the Lionheart, and hopefully these little symbols will provoke that memory for those children. Remember, we need to always go back to the audience. Let's have a look at okay, I'm just quickly looking at the comments there just to make sure everyone's doing all right. And then we go on to our third panel here. Okay, our third panel is the flag. Okay, so that's the flag there. What else should we do? So my thought process is we need to figure out who this person is. He's a warrior. He's a gallant, brave person, and he brought the flag over to England in the 12th century. So we need to go back to scenes. Okay, let's save our storyboard. See if we can find something that suggests him bringing the emblem over. Okay, so let's maybe use this. This is a ship. Okay, so we'll use a ship. We'll put Richard. We'll copy him, and we'll put him on the ship, and we'll pretend this flag is part of. The ship, to describe the story of him bringing it over to England. Okay, so then what we can do is maybe use this scene here. Maybe that doesn't look. Maybe we use this scene. That might be a little bit better. That might describe Richard coming on a ship and bringing the flag with him. Okay, so let's have a look at transportation. One we're looking for now is a ship that I'll put in the background there to make that link between that panel and this panel. So let's have a quick look. Right, we've got to use what we've got. Obviously, I know fine well there wasn't a speedboat back in back in the 12th century, but you know, we're going to use that just for the time being. It's probably better than any sketch I would do anyway, so I'm going to put that there. Bear in mind that really all a storyboard is to convey that message, you know, so as long as we can convey an idea for the time being anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to put that flag up there to try and demonstrate that, and we're going to bring Richard, I'm going to copy him, I'm going to put him into this scene here. While I'm talking, I'm actually going to do away with this speedboat because I think it's absolutely ridiculous and I was trying to do something on the fly. What I'll do is I'll find another person. Let's have a look. Characters, medieval. Let's see if we can find a king or some person, maybe. I'm going to use this person. and I'm gonna see if I can find a flag. I'll bring this flag over. I'm gonna pretend Richard is handing this flag over to somebody in England, okay? And for quickness, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find a shape. I'm going to pretend that is the pole of the flag. Here we go. So I'm dragging that down there. I'm going to change the color to brown. There we go. Okay, we're not going to win any BAFTAs with this, but hopefully it'll convey the message. So there we go. Maybe to make the link between this panel and the next one, what I'll do is I'll copy everybody in there, if I can. No, I can't do that. Let's have a look at it. Yes, I can, of course I can. I'll undo that. So what I'm doing, guys, is I'm selecting all these. I wonder if I can go back. Let's see, undo. Let's undo a few. Undo, redo, redo. Selecting these, bringing that back over. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag and select all the items in that scene. Then I'm going to edit and copy. And I'm going to, I'm just copying the flag. Okay. There's more than one way to skin a cat, so let's try something else. So I'm going to copy this. I think I'm having a few technical hitches here. I don't know what's going on. Let's go to the scenes again. We're going to look for a historical scene. We're going to grab. Let's do a different scene to make things a little bit more interesting. There we've got a castle. Okay. I'm going to copy this individual. Copy them. I'm going to paste them into this scene. And I'm going to get this person to carry the flag. Oh, I'll do that. Again. Copy these. Bring that over here. Copy that. Bring him over again. For some reason he went missing. And we'll copy this, and we'll copy that as well. Sometimes you just have to do things the long way around in order to get things done. But there we go. So we've copied those across, and what we'll do is we'll put this flag in this person's hand and bring this image to the front, so it looks as though he's holding it or she's holding it, and then we'll put the cross on there. Bring that to the front like we did last time. There we go. Okay. So as we can see, there's links between each of these panels. Right. First question that we have is who is St. George? And St. George, as we now know, was called Richard the Lionheart. He brought the flag over from the Roman Empire to England. But what we don't have is we don't have the flag, because we moved the flag, didn't we? So we'll copy that. Take that back over there. Quickly copy that. Copy that. Bring that over there. Okay, and you get the picture. That can be a bit bigger, but there we go. So let's quickly go back to our list of things that we need to try and put in here. So we've got who he is. We've got how he came to bring the flag, the St George's Cross over to the UK. So as you can see, really, this 6-panel or 5-panel at the minute, 5-panel storyboard has conveyed 2 points. Okay, and I think this is a really good example of how we really need to be quite clear with what we're putting in each frame. If we were to combine more than a couple of different messages in each panel, it's going to be really confusing. So as you can see, we really need to be careful what we put in each scene or what we put in each panel, and we need to make sure that there's links between each of the panels, so you can see there's a kind of a flow to a story, which is highlighting another issue. Really, we need to include 3 more points into this storyboard. Okay, and that is going to be a really good way for me to show you how to export these images and extend the use of using a 6-panel storyboard. Okay, so what we'll do is I'll create the final panel here, and maybe think about let's have a look. Got a little bit too ahead of myself here. 2 minutes. There we go. We know we don't know, but we have an understanding, or we believe, that he's from East Turkey. Okay, and I think that's quite important. Okay, so if we maybe try and move these along a little bit, and maybe change this panel here to a young person, a baby, and maybe try and symbolize Turkey in terms of like its geographical location. Okay, that's what I would be thinking about doing, to try and start that story off from him being a baby and then moving along. So that if we were to rejig all these along, which I'll do before we have our little break in a few minutes time, well, I'll do during our break, sorry, and then that will complete the first section to the story of who Richard the Lionheart is. Then I would guess that we would need another few panels to describe how we keep on doing that, how we try to defend Christians from persecution, and maybe a little nod to the story of George and the Dragon. Okay, so as we can see, this is not very flash at all, but we can use a series, using this storyboard, that we can use a series of pre-built in elements to create our storyboards. Okay, remember our task here was to inform an audience. Okay, it was about informing the audience here of children aged between 8 and 10. So when we're looking at informing, we want to try and get the key facts over to that audience. Okay, the next activity that we're probably gonna run over on slightly, but the next activity was to entertain, and that's where we can employ some other key storyboarding techniques in terms of the camera movements, camera shots, certain camera shots, and things like that for this activity too. This might run over. We might include this into session 2. Having quite a bit of fun with the first activity. I've got myself a little bit carried away. Okay, so what we're going to do now, guys, I'm going to quickly recap just before we break. Have a little 10-minute break, and then I'm going to during that break I'll rejig this storyboard, create a panel here to try and communicate his origins, and then I'll look at developing this storyboard a little bit more, just to answer this activity here. Inform the audience, children aged between 8 and 10, of who St George is. Okay, and I think that does that quite well at the minute. Okay, although you know, Remember, it's just a tool. It's not a finished article. If you look at some of the sketches from last week, the sketches were really, really rough sketches, and this is just a little bit more developed than that, where you have pre-built in kind of identifiable objects. Okay, so let's have a quick recap. So we've looked at the activity, and we spent a bit of time on that this morning. This afternoon. We've looked at different types of shots, and if we go to here, just again a quick recap, we know that we have Storyboard that has fantastic resources online that shows you and describes different camera movements, motions in camera, and we'll try and maybe look at putting a few of these in to our storyboard that we're building at the minute, and the camera shots more importantly. The different types of shots here. What else have we looked at this afternoon? Quick recap on the last session. What it is, a panel. Now storyboard that refers to a panel as a cell, but that's what a panel is when we're looking at building a storyboard. For a little bit of a description underneath. We've looked at why we use it, and that was kind of what we're going to do in today's session. Okay, remember guys, just a quick one, our enrollment forms on our YouTube comments section, and we'll also have a survey at the end. Okay, so just point you towards those if you wouldn't mind filling those in if you're engaging with the video. As described before, they're really important for us to put these kind of sessions on. Any feedback, again, is greatly welcome. Okay then, right, so we're going to break now for 10 minutes. I'm going to go and have a little drink, and I'll rejig that storyboard. Any comments that you got, guys? I'm just quickly scanning through them now. Hi Wib, lovely to see your comments there, thanks very much. The other red cross on the Union Jack was the cross of St. Patrick's. Brilliant, Wib. That's fantastic. Thanks very much for that. Right, so that's brilliant. Any more comments you got there? Please put them on there, and I'll try and dip into that every so often. All right, right. We're gonna have a little break now, guys. I'll catch you in 10. All right, thanks very much. Root-a-toot-toot, rat-a-tat-tat. Right guys, welcome back. Just getting back into our little presentation sheet here to figure out where we need to go from for our storyboard from where we left off before we had our little break. Hope you're all refreshed, hope you can hear us. Just double checking something on our chat to make sure everyone's doing alright. Let's see. Yep, I think we're playing alright. Cool. Alright, and so what I thought I would do is while we were having our little break, I thought I'd do a series of sketches and do a little storyboard myself to try and squeeze in something in the panel at the very beginning of our storyboard. Okay, so as you can remember or see from before we had our little break, as promised, I've moved everything along to make sure that we have our a brand new panel here, because I thought it would be quite interesting and important to put down that and explain to our audience, who is, remember, children between 8 and 10, put down where Richard the Lionheart was actually from. And from my research, it is believed that he's from East Turkey. Okay, so I've done a little storyboard, a very rough sketch to try and think of how we would construct this first panel to demonstrate the origins of Richard the Lionheart, or St. George. Okay, so what is important and what I did become aware of as I was doing these sketches was that this timeline, well, it's not a timeline, but these points need to be organized into some kind of timeline, really, don't they? They need to be organized into a timeline, which we then put into our storyboard, so we can effectively construct that story. Okay, now if we look at some stories, for example, let's have a think. Let's say The Usual Suspects, for example. I haven't seen this film in a very long time, but you see one story and then it plays backwards things that you weren't really aware of during the story. So you're shown one storyline, and then you're showing a different version, that same timeline in a different perspective. Okay, so you do have a storyboard, or a storyline doesn't need to have a start, a middle, and an end. In terms of a linear time, it doesn't need to start at, say, 9 o'clock in the morning and finish at 9 o'clock at night. It start at 9 o'clock at night and work its way back. Look at Benjamin Button, for example, that story that depicts a character that doesn't get older, he gets younger. Okay, so my point is, it doesn't need to start from the beginning, but for our audience, who are children, I thought it would be quite important to keep the story as simple as possible. So I created a new panel at the beginning, and I've done a series of sketches that depict a little knight, okay, and a castle, where I'm pointing here, castle that has a flag, and I'm going to put the Turkish flag on there just to demonstrate that this little person originated from Turkey. Okay, so we need another background, don't we? Let's have a look, see what we can find. Let's do a little spot of research. Okay, we know. Let's find out where Turkey is. Okay, Turkey is over here. It's classed as the Middle East. Let's see if we can see of Turkey. just to try and get an idea on what kind of image background would be. Oh, we've got turkeys here. It's not the type. it's not the turkey I was expecting. Christmas turkeys here. Let's have a look. Let's go back to this. Right, here's some images of Turkey. We've got a fantastic building there. So we've got ruins, we've got rocks and coastline. Lovely landscapes. Quite opulent buildings there. Right, let's see if we can find something that has a kind of a colour like that, because I think I've seen something quite similar. I mean, that looks quite exotic, that one there, but it might be a little bit too far away from where I would expect Turkey to be. Let's have a look. Again, it's just for illustration purposes, so we'll just have to find something that will roughly match. Oh, I'll tell you what we can do. I forgot about this actually. What we can do is, let's put in a building. This building, for example. Now, if you remember from the last session, we can change the colour of these elements, background, skies, things like that. Now, if we type in the Middle East images, not turkeys. Right, these are the kind of images I'm trying to think of, and this, guys, this is a really good way of doing our research. We've got the internet at our fingertips here, and when creating our storyboards, if we don't know what it is we're looking at, or if we don't know the type of images that we need to include in our storyboards or in our panels, the kind of feel that we're trying to get from that scene, all we need to do is just do a quick Google Images search there, and look, we've got everything here. So what I want to try and create is like this kind of sunset, kind of dusty kind of feel, and we can do that quite easily now by, if you remember, we change the background. So I'm going to change that background color to a lovely orange, kind of dusky type, something like that maybe. I'm going to change the greenery if I can. I'm not too sure whether I can do that. That's a sky, so let's have a look. Edit scene. Here we go. Snow, rain, we don't want to do any of that. That's the sky. That'll do for now. Okay, so there we go. We've got a background. What I want to try and do is find a baby character. Now, in my little sketch, and remember, sketches do not need to be absolutely perfect, and this is probably one of the reasons why I really like this this application that we're using at the minute, because as you can see, my sketches are not the best, but it allows you to explore ideas. Okay, as you can see there from my sketch here, put a line across there because what I was trying to draw is a little baby's crib. And then I thought, well, you're not going to see the character in there, so I scrapped that, moved on to another one. That image was sketched from an image that I'd done on Google Images. Just typed in baby cartoon and quickly sketched that. So this wasn't here to show you guys, it wasn't to show anybody, but it was just the way my thought process was working when I wanted to try and construct this scene that we see in front of us. So what is important really is a big takeaway is don't be scared to put pen to paper, because as you can see from the last session that we did, you know, there was a guy from the industry, an actual filmmaker, who was doing sketches. Well, they were a lot better than my sketches, but he was doing really rough sketches, and it's just to try and get your thought processes to start, ticking through, trying to get you to make those connections with each of those panels that you're making and construct that storyboard. What you could actually do, which would be quite a useful thing and might save you a bit of time, is to do something as rough as this first before you take it to something a bit more polished, like this photo of that application, which is online. So anyway, let's go back to our panel. We've just changed that slightly just to give it a difference in terms of that kind of scene that you see here. Now, what I'll probably need to do actually, guys, is I'll need to change this one. Let's edit that scene. Let's change that sky as well. I'll change it to that. And you can see, as I'm doing this, it's giving that scene a different feel. And the important thing is here, what I probably would like to do, if I could, is change the buildings. Maybe do them over brown. That might work. Yeah, we'll just go with that for the time being, because I just want it for illustration purposes. Do the same with that one, brown. And I'll see if I can do the same. I'm not sure I can do it with this one. I can't, but doesn't matter. But as you can see, there's a difference between that setting and this setting here. Bluer skies, less dusty feel, and different coloured buildings. Okay, and that's really what we want to try and convey here, because what we're trying to do is tell a story. Richard the Lionheart, he originated from Turkey, and we're going to do that up in a minute. Who was he? He was called Richard the Lionheart, and that's what we've got here to try and get across those symbols, so the children, remember our audience, 8 to 10, can try and remember his name. He brought the emblem, the St. George's Cross, over the water to new land, England, and we, the English people, then took the emblem, and that became the English flag. Okay, so that's what we're trying. That's a story that we're trying to get at. I did want to try and convey a little bit more to this story, and I am aware I'm going over. So what we'll probably do, guys, instead of rushing, we'll move on to activity 2 probably next week, and that'll be a good starting point for something a little bit more exciting, where we can look at using the camera techniques and the zooming in and the movement and the panning. We can apply that to the activity 2. So we'll push that on to next week. Having so much fun doing this at the minute. And we'll add a few more panels to this storyline storyboard, and I'll show you how to do that within the next half an hour. So let's move on. Let's move on to this first panel. Let's look for a baby of some type, if we can find them. So let's kids. Let's have a look. And we'll just have to work with what we've got here. And again, all we need to do is really get across the idea. There we go, a baby. What else can we do? Oh, we need to really convey the fact that this is Turkey, don't we? So what I'll do is I'll pinch, copy that flag. I'll put that flag there just for example, and then let's have a look at the Turkish flag, because I'm not too sure what that looks like. I've got an idea. Can't spell. There we go. So it's like a crescent and a star. Right, what I want to try and do, I'm going to try and do this on the fly, because I haven't tried this before, but I'm going to try and demonstrate how we can download an image and put it into photo like that. Okay, so let's have a look to see how we go about doing that. So what we need to do is we need to find the image. This is for educational purposes, so it'll be fine to download one of these, but if you're using any image, you need to really check its copyright attributes. Okay, so we're going to download that image if we can find it. There it is, and then there's our little download button there. I'm going to download that. Download it, yeah. So that should be in my download. Okay. Right, let's go back to photo of that. I haven't done this before, so let's see if it works. Upload. There we go. If you look at the top, there's an upload section. Now, upload just simply means put a file from your computer up into the cloud or onto the internet. Okay. Do not upload photographs of children under 13, adult or offensive images or copyright material. Okay, that's fine. Click the upload images button. There we have. We need to log in, don't we? So what I'm going to do, guys, I'll put a nice big star next to login in before next session. I've got a little note there to log in before next session. I'll make sure I can do that, and then I'll show you that next session. I believe it should be fairly straightforward, just like many upload things, but I'm not going to waste your time trying to figure out my password here, because it's not what we're here to do today. So what I would expect to do is click on that button there. I would click on the upload images, and then it would take me not to this, it will take me to File Explorer, where I would then locate my image. I would select the image that I would want, click OK, and it would upload the file. Okay, that is a process 9 times out of 10 that we use when we're uploading images or material to the internet. Okay, but for next session, guys, I'll have that locked down, and I'll show you exactly how to do it, and I'll be logged in before the session. But nevertheless, we do know what it looks like. Okay, so it's like a moon, if you like, with a star on a red background. So we should be able to create that pretty easily. So if we go back in my old notes, definitely not. If we go into that, we're going to borrow our flag from the St. George's flag. We're going to copy it. I'm going to bring it over here, and we are going to make it a little bit bigger. And I think we'll need to make the St. George's flag a bit bigger in future, but just for this, we're going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to change the background to red, and we are going to try and find some shapes. Now, let's try and find the star first, because I think that'll be the easiest one to locate. Or maybe not. Infographics, maybe, might be in there. Look at this. Boom. Now, this is obviously a symbol. And I'll just out of my own interest, this is not part of the session, but I want to know what symbol is on the Turkish flag. Star and a crescent. crescent and moon. Widely believed the crescent and the moon are a symbol of Islam, and the symbol's origins predate Islam and are believed to go back to peoples Central Asia, okay, or Siberia. Oh, so there you go. You learn something new every day. So it's synonymous with the Islamic religion. I'm going to whack that there. We're going to change that. We're going to change the background to red for the time being, quickly. And then we're going to change that to white. There we go. So there's a Turkish flag. It looks a little bit like that, doesn't it? Yeah, I guess it does. So we've got the flag, we've got the little baby. Right, so that kind of gets across what I was trying to get across on my really loose sketch there. We've got a baby, comes from a different place called Turkey. Okay, who is he? Who is this person? If we had a bit more time, maybe it would be useful to have another panel in here to show this baby growing older. Okay, can we do that now? Because what I was trying to do in this sketch here is to try and show a baby but in a soldier's uniform. I don't know whether I would do that. We'd have to have a look through through the symbols to see if there's anything particular that we could use. And I can't think of anything at the minute, but I'm sure if we had a bit more time on it, we would be able to find something. Okay, so I feel it's a bit weak, the link between this scene and this scene, really, but that's fine. Okay, I think we need to strengthen that up a little bit, and I think what we could, to strengthen that up, I think we can put in another panel in there. But as it stands, we've got our 6 panels. Okay, we've got a scene that depicts a little baby in a place called Turkey. We have then this scene, which is a soldier, and this soldier's name is Richard the Lionheart. I tell you what we could do, just as a really quick link. I'm not entirely sure whether this is going to work or not, but let's just bear with me 1 minute. I'll try and create like a hairstyle for him, a really quick loose hairstyle, so we can know that baby is now this guy here. Now let's see what we can find. If we can find something that looks a bit like a quiff or something like that, maybe. I might be fighting and losing. There, this might do it. We'll give him a really funny little kind of afro or something. I might as well make it match his flag. Oh, that might be. There we go. So he's got a little bit of a red afro, and if we copy that, this is really. At least there's a link there now. You know, I'm not saying it's the link that we want, but at least there is some kind of link there. It's a quick way of doing that. You know, we could revisit this in a little bit later, and review it and try and get it closer to what ideally we would want. But for now, I reckon that'll do. You know. So anyway, St. George's Day is to celebrate this person. This person is St. George, Richard the Lionheart. Okay. He brought the flag over from. We believe he originates from Turkey, but he was a Roman. I believe he was a Roman soldier. If you've got any other more information on that, please let us know in the comments. And then he came over to England apparently, and that's where the emblem comes from, and that's why we celebrate St. George's Day today. Why do we celebrate this guy? Because yeah, he's got a funny name, Richard the Lionheart. Lionheart, I gather, because he was a brave, gallant soldier. One of the other points, if we look at our list here, one of the other points that is really, really key to the whole story of Richard, which I found out the other day, was he defended the Christians against persecution against the Roman Emperor, and for that, guys, he was actually he was killed, which is a massive thing, really. So that's something that we need to really add to this story when we develop this a little bit further. Okay. So that is why this guy had a lion heart. You know, he wasn't scared of standing out, and he wasn't scared of saying what he thought was right and what he thought was wrong. And unfortunately, he died for it. What I'm going to do, see if I can find another shape. This is really bothering me, this, so I'm going to drag this over. I'm going to put that white, and I'm going to send that behind, put this in front of that. Can I do that? I'll send it back, maybe. That's not working. But what I was trying to do is bring this image, symbols. Let's see. Oh, look, there's that symbol again, and there's a Christian symbol. So there we go. We've got we've got that symbol that we would need to help with portraying that story of his gallant effort there to try and defend the Christian people. There we go. That's a little bit better. Right. So there we have that story. Okay. Let me just try something very quickly. I'm going to start a new storyboard. So let me just drag my tab. Where are we at the minute? This is where we're at the end, and this is the storyboard that we've created. We've got a little boy who became a gallant soldier by the name of Richard the Lionheart. Brought the flag over from far away to England. That flag got passed over to us being the English people, who then adopted his flag. And we want to put tell the final part of this story, and I think I can probably do that in 3 panels. And I want to take this story back to, we'll take it to Rome, because that's where it was part of the Roman Empire, so I believe. And I'm just going to quickly okay, I'm just checking out, making sure how you guys are doing there, just checking the comments. Everyone seems to be doing all right. What I'm going to do now, guys, do a bit of research, and I want to find a scene that would kind of portray the Roman Empire, because I want to use that as a backdrop for a mini kind of storyboard to explain how he came to be so famous, so important, as the defender of people, and what happened to him. So we're looking for a background, aren't we? And a Roman background at that. Roman Empire background. Now this guy, Richard Lionheart, who's part of a famous story with a battle with a dragon. Okay, and that was the second activity that we were going to do today, but we've run over a little bit, so we'll look at that next week. But basically, he had a fight with a dragon to rescue a town and a damsel in distress, and that's what he did, and that's why you might associate St. George with a dragon. Okay, and if you, I'm not too sure, I'm logged on to our Facebook page today. Let's have a look. Media Savvy Facebook. Let's have a quick look. There might be an image on there, there might not, to celebrate St. George's Day today. Oh, and not only is it St. George's Day, let's accept that. We need to say happy birthday to Diego. It's Diego's birthday today. Okay, not now. I just want to try and show you something. There we go. Happy birthday, Diego. Oh, Shakespeare Day. I'm trying to show you that. I was trying to show you this. So that's why you sometimes see or associate a dragon with St. George. Anyway, back to our little story and background. So we're looking for a Roman Empire type of scenario. Something a bit like this, maybe some grand opulent buildings. See what we can find in our background. Now we need to go to scenes, which we've got. We need to have a look at, let's have a look at classical home, see what that's about. Might not be what we want, but I haven't looked in there yet. Nope, nothing in there. Historical, we've been in there. Let's see if there's any kind of ruins or something like that might help us out. There, we've got the Colosseum there. That was good enough image as any, I think. I'm going to whack that in there and change the background, the sky, to a nice dusky colour. There we go. Change the building if we can to a bit of a dusty colour again, maybe a bit darker. Okay, and we're going to put, oh, didn't save those changes. Change that a little bit. There we go, that'll do. Choose that. Right, so we need to get our, what I've done is a fudge, guys, because I didn't want to log in, and I'm having issues with logging in. I've created a separate tab to create an additional storyboard. So I've got this tab here, which is the additional 3 panels to this storyboard that I've created here. Okay, just wanted to save a little bit of time, and hopefully that'll save under my profile. Okay, and I'll get back and double check all that before our next session. And what I will do actually, if I can hide these for a minute, what I'll do, I'm going to take some screenshots for my own purposes. A screenshot, if you don't know what that is, guys, it's a button on your keyboard, and you can print a screen or capture everything on this screen. What I'm going to do that now is I'm going to put that into this presentation just as an aid memoir to myself. So just bear with me a minute. New slide, right there in there, and I'm going to paste my screenshot in. Brilliant. I'll do another one, and I'll just so I know what is in that scene, just in case I need to actually recreate it later on. I'll paste that in there. This presentation, guys, will be available for you. There is some links in there as well, quite useful links, and a few links to some of the information that we recapped last week. Anyway, quickly back to this this scene. Right, so we've got the character, and obviously because I've got this open in a different tab, I can't then copy and paste those individuals like it could before. So I'll need to just quickly find a medieval image, the same one that we used for the knight. I think it was that one. Yes, it was. And I'm going to change, if I can change that grass. Oh, can't do that. Oh. Yeah, that makes him stand out a little bit better. What's this colour here? Right. That'll do. So, and we need to try and find a Roman Emperor type character, which I really don't know what that would look like. I'll tell you what, Google will be tell me what that looks like, or who that looks like. Roman. Spelled that right? Yes. I don't think we've got anybody that looks like that in our characters, so we'll just have to improvise. Now, let's try this guy here. I'll tell you what, we're writing history here, and actually that guy seems to have long hair, so it could be a guy, it could be a girl, and I'm going to say it's a girl. And we're going to have a female Roman emperor who didn't take too kindly to this guy, Richard the Lionheart, defending the Christians. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to move that scene over. I'm going to copy this. Actually, to remove, I'm going to take that out. I'm going to go back, copy him, put him over here. I'm not too sure what the background's going to look like yet, but we're just going on the fly. We're going to look for some shapes, and remember we were looking for symbols. When we were looking at symbols before, we found the cross, the Christian cross. So what I might do now is I might find some more characters, and I can remember from last week was silhouettes. So what I want to try and do is get across the idea that there was a group of people who belong to this faith, and if you can see the silhouette here, these silhouettes have people holding things. So really, in my mind, that's going to represent the Christian people, okay? And what I'll do is I'll put Richard at the front of these people, as though he's protecting them, if I can. Yes, brilliant. And what I'll do is I'll put this person who doesn't want the story, as the story goes anyway, doesn't want was persecuting and doing wrong by these Christian people. So I'm going to put this scenario here. I can't really figure out what the background's going to be, but what happens to him anyway when he defends these people. The Emperor doesn't like that, and unfortunately for Richard, means he ends up horizontal. Now what we need to do now is find something to represent that, okay? And I'm now very aware of the time. We've got about 5-10 minutes left, so I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm going to just quickly recap the storyboard that we've built up. Now obviously this is all available for you guys to use. I've just done this on the fly, trying to stay in the theme of St George's Day today, educating myself really on what St George's Day is and means to people in England and the UK, and that's actually really helped going through this process. But not only that, the main focus of today's session was to explore how we build a story to a set audience. Now, as I keep on going back, the audience that we were trying to appeal to was children aged between 8 and 10, and that is again one of the reasons why I used this this storyboard that application, because it was some it's quite cartoon. It's got quite a cartoony style to it. Okay, so let's look at what we've got. We've got scene here depicting a little baby with a funny hairstyle. Baby is from Turkey. Baby grows up to be a really brave soldier by the name of Richard the Lionheart. Richard adopts the St. George's Cross, brings it to the UK, brings it to England, should I say, and then the English people take on that cross, and that's the cross that we use today as a representation of England, the English flag. Okay. The continuation of the story is that, unfortunately for Richard, he defends the Christian people against a Roman emperor, who then, we didn't quite finish this scene, but ends up killing Richard for him defending the Christian people. So that's a story in a very, very, very close, tight, small nutshell. So that's what we've got, guys. Okay, I'm gonna just quickly go back to what we tried to look at doing today, and hopefully we've ticked a few of those boxes. Right at the very beginning, remember we've got the I mentioned we've got the enrollment form. Again, it doesn't take too long. It will take you about a minute or two max to fill that in. And then we've got the survey to give us a bit of feedback on today's session. We wanted to look at the audience and why are they watching. So we come up with a scenario in this activity 1 to create a storyboard to inform an audience about who is St. George for children aged between 8 and 10, and that's what we did in our storyboard. Okay, we didn't quite get on to activity 2, which was then to look at a storyboard to entertain, and this now employs a little bit more of the advanced techniques that is included in storyboarding, because it's looking to entertain, and that's really important, and that's why we create storyboards in the first place, really, especially when it comes to film and media and animation. So this is an activity we're going to look at development next week, and we're going to look at creating a storyboard which is a little bit more fun than today's storyboard, if I can say so, because it's got a dragon in there. It's got nice exciting stories that would appeal to a younger age group. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next week. That's what we've done today. What I would like to do is just flicking through my notes here on my lesson. Again, this will be put online for you guys to download, and I'll do that as soon as I finish this session today. I'd love to point you to this really cool resource, and I keep on doing this. Again, I'm very new to online. Well, here we go. To online teaching. Okay, so you have to bear with us. There's going to be a few blunders along the way, but I would love to show you this website before we go. Okay, I was doing a bit of research before the session, and I was looking at other resources that is available for you guys to do a bit more learning. Okay, so if you click on this website's called futurelearn.com, and I've used this quite a lot over the last year, and it's a website full of resources and short courses, all for free, guys, all for free. Okay, and correction, there are some that you have to pay for, but there are hundreds and thousands of courses on here, some put on by the Open University, some put on by universities and colleges. There is a subscription that you don't have to sign up for, because there are loads and loads of courses on here that are absolutely free. Okay, and all you need to do is just sign up and do it, basically. And I'm just going to quickly show you this website. We don't get any kind of support by Future Learn. It's just something that I use, and I know people who've used this in the past, and it's really useful. And it's a really good resource. It's very professional. A lot of the courses are delivered by industry experts. Okay, and this is what it looks like when you go onto their website. You've got you can search by subject. Okay, so business, arts and craft, creative art and media, and so on and so on. Teaching, study skills, engineering, science. Let's have a look at creative art because that's what I'm interested in. Let's see what courses are available here. So fashion management, learn to play jazz piano, there's all kinds. But the one thing that stood out to me, which really kind of helps us with our storyboarding and writing, is a start writing fiction course that's coming up, which is free to join. Now, I don't know much about this, I haven't looked into it, but if I show you the process, it might ask you to sign in, and you have to sign in. I'm going to sign in under my my personal account for the time being, just to try and show you the process. Okay, and as you can see, which I'm glad this is highlighted, as you can see, there's different ways to learn. So you've got access to courses for 10 weeks for free. You've got upgrades which you pay for. This is the one that I'm only interested in. I don't have any of these accounts, and I've done about 6 or 7 online courses this year for free. Okay, so that's what I would do. I'll click on that, click on go to course, and then here we go. Before you start learning, here's some things you need to know, and it gives you some information about the course. And then let's go to the course. I'm not saying do this course, but what I can say is I have used this website for completely separate courses for my own personal learning, and it is absolutely fantastic. And what you do, there's a bit of information about the course here, and then you can mark it to complete, and you can start this online course. Here we have a video talking about what fiction is. Everything in it, unique material and equipment for creating characters, your experiences, your memories. Ways to write is another part of that course here. It gives you information about ways to write, and then they have guest speakers and quizzes and things like that. That all they're aimed to help you build your knowledge about this particular course, which is start writing fiction. I thought that was quite apt for what we're covering over the next 5 weeks. So if you're interested in that, couldn't recommend that any more highly. It's a fantastic resource. But also, as you can see, there are many more courses on there, from business to psychology to language to law. Okay, so I do urge you to have a quick look at that if you've got some time. It's fantastic. Right, what else do I need to tell you before I go? That is about it. We've covered quite a lot today. You've seen me go through an activity, and the process that I've gone through today is the process that I would actually, it's the same kind of process I would go through when I tackle any project, really. We're not all experts in our field, and using examples of Google searching for the likes of what the Turkish flag looks like, not a turkey, different images that we can copy, or we can sketch to get ideas, to answer questions that we don't know. Internet is a fantastic resource, so I'll always have many tabs open, and I'll go through a process whereby I start with a sketchbook, and I build on my knowledge, and any answers that I have, any questions that I have that need answering, I always go to the internet to try and build that knowledge up in order to tackle a project, and this project today being the storyboard one. Okay, now this wasn't the most exciting kind of story in my, if I don't do say so myself, because what it is, this storyboard is used to inform an audience. Okay, the next activity number 2, will be its main purpose will be to excite and entertain the audience. So we're going to look at some of those more advanced techniques in the use of the camera, the movement of the camera, so on and so forth. Okay, I'm going to find a few more interesting links for you guys that we can go back to industry and see what they do and what techniques they use. I'll have a few more videos for you to watch next week. But until then, I just wish to point you to our enrollment form. Like I say, it takes a few minutes to complete, and our feedback form. They're really, really important for us to put on these sessions. Thank you very much for your comments. Thanks very much for engaging. Any kind of comments or any feedback that you've got, please whack it in our survey. I wish you have a really good weekend. Hopefully the sun's going to be shining all weekend. Looking out now, and we've got leaves on the trees, so spring is here. So have a lovely weekend. Be safe and enjoy the weather. Thanks for watching.